Okay, here's a video of my shade. I had originally thought that this was going to be covered in vines. That's what I made as a trellis. And this is one of two designs that I had. The second design was I was going to run the edge along the top, the roof line, the truss line, and then I was going to straighten it out along this edge here. But I did some research. I did a survey. I asked people. I drew it. I took a picture and then I drew it out, and I asked different people. I asked my wife, I asked my daughter, and that's basically it. So people, what they thought, and they decided on this one, and so I went ahead and did this design. So what I did is I put an angle iron along this edge here, and that's 1.5 by 1/8 angle iron, and I screwed it using 3-inch screws in this series along that edge there. And on this one here, I have this span where, you know, this pillar and this pillar don't exactly line up. So I got a 20-footer and I just let it extend all the way between these two pillars. So you can see on this end over here, from this pillar, it extends over, you know, I don't know, that's probably 6 or 7 feet. But it's attached here. I attached to the rebar that goes down into the pillar. I drilled into the concrete, and then I pounded a piece of rebar. And actually I did that so I could extend the wall 2 block high, so the rebar goes down into here and extends up there. But I did attach a plate to the concrete. You can see that there. So it's welded on there, and the plate's welded to the rebar inside, and then it's grouted. So I did that two spots on this one over here. I did the same thing over here. You can see that. Yeah. So that's that. And then I got some 3/16 cold rolled steel, and I attached it. I marked it out where I wanted it. In this case, it's 7 inches. So every 7 inches, and then I got my dimensions over here on where I was going to put it. And I don't think that this distance between here and here is the same as here and here. So I had to do, you know, just make it look right. There's just a slight difference, but you know, you can't tell in the overall design. And where you'd be able to tell is the line along the bottom here, and here, this transition here. So it has just enough irregularity that you can't detect the difference. So the cold rolled steel it has structure, more so than just a hot rolled. Hot rolled wouldn't give you that nice arch. It doesn't have that much strength. So the only place I could heat this up is at the very ends of this rod. Otherwise it'll change the whole internal structure, and then it'll start moving differently. It'll behave differently. So you can see over here on these that I welded at the very end here. And then this is kind of the hold point, or the fastening point, and this is where I get it to get that arch. So I got it, I arched it out. I put a string line across the top from both ends, and then I would just move it across and move this up and down so I could get the right arch. So I had a couple of different strings. And the first time I did it, it wasn't perfect, and I wasn't really that interested because I thought the vine would cover it and I wouldn't worry about it. But after the vines dried out, you can see there's some vine material up there, but it got too hot there on that west wall, so it didn't work. The vines dried out, so I decided to put a tarp on it. So after that, I decided to make it better. So I went back and I ground off all of the welds on these here so I could adjust them. So you can see I left a little white mark over here because this was right up to the bottom. So that's how much movement I made after I cut them off. You can see how quite a bit moved. So after that, it got really straight. I mean, the string lines don't lie. So in certain areas, it's perfectly straight. Down when you get too closer to this edge here, it's not so perfect, and that's just because these rings or the washers that I put on have a little bit of variance. So, but that's okay because it kind of separates from the material when it gets closer to that edge there. And then, so I got a piece of fabric from SAS, and I think this was like $65 worth of material. And it's supposedly waterproof and sun UV resistant. So we'll see how long it lasts. And I got Maria, my wife, to sew it. So I went up there and I stretched it all along the top. So there's a piece of 3/16 steel that goes along the edge here, and I got a piece of oak and I put a channel in it with the router, so you can see that, so that there's a hem or a seam on that edge there, and I fastened it to the steel angle iron. So that's basically sitting like this, holding that edge of that canvas, holding it taut across the whole span. And so I put that on there, and then I marked it with a pencil, which you can still see my pencil marks. I couldn't find my soapstone, so, but anyway, I traced out the edges where I wanted the seam line and where I wanted all the ties, and then Maria sewed it all up, and she did a fantastic job. I mean, she's incredible with that sewing machine. So she sewed this seam here. So you see that? I mean, her work is impeccable. She made these ties. She got some of the material and she folded it and made these ties for me, and we put them all. And this is her idea. She's comes and thinks about it and comes up with the solution. So this is all her right here, but it came out really nice. Oh my gosh, everything is perfectly aligned. So this will provide shade in the afternoon when the sun starts heading west, and it actually makes this cabana much more useful. It's like 10 degrees cooler in here than it was. So I don't have to move my table, because if we were out here in the afternoon or through the afternoon, we'd have to start migrating the table over this way to catch the shade. So it makes this whole area a whole lot better. All right, so that's an update with my trellis, and I hope you guys like it.